Hello everyone, this is Ange. Welcome to another episode of the Visual Novel Monthly Recap. This is a video series where I highlight news related to visual novel releases and the community for each month. In this video, I'm going to be talking about what happened in April of 2023. This video was edited by its Andrew XP, linked to his channel in the description below. Ninetail released their newest visual novel, The Alchemist of Ars Magna, on JAST, Steam, GOG, and other stores. Ninetail is known for their gameplay-heavy visual novels and fantasy settings, so definitely pick up Ars Magna if you're interested in that. A fan translation of Bishoujo Mangekyou 2.5 got released by Daybreak Translations. This is a very short visual novel, about an hour. Even though this visual novel says 2.5, I've been told that you don't actually have to read this between the second and third entry, which aren't translated yet. On the contrary, I've been told you could actually read this after the first Bishoujo Mangekyou. I suppose it's arguable if this is a visual novel or not, but Sega released The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog on April Fool's Day. It has a relatively easy, mystery-like gameplay, and is a fun little scenario of many of the major Sonic characters interacting and trying to figure out who supposedly killed Sonic. Note that this game is 100% free and pretty short. Kunado Chronicles, developed by Purplesoft, was released by Shirobune on Steam and Jorin. I actually have both an English translation preview and a full review on my channel if you want to learn more about this visual novel. One thing that people noticed post-release is that since Kunado Chronicles was ported to a new engine, a bunch of UI-related features like making the menu transparent and having some backgrounds being animated were not part of the English version. I'm assuming they did this to make it easier to make an 18 plus patch easier to apply, since Purplesoft has some weird engines. Thankfully, Shirobune has since re-added some of these features shortly after release. Frontwing has announced that they're going to be translating Milk Factory's Oppai Ero App Academy Bigger, Better Electric Boobaloo. This is a sequel to Oppai Academy, which Frontwing also released a while back. As you can tell by the very big boob sizes, it's pretty safe to say that this will be a Nukige. Sekai Project released A Light in the Dark on Switch and PS4. If you didn't know, this is a Chinese original visual novel that got a release on PC back in 2018, and it appears to be a darker visual novel with some drama and violence. For those who are fans of the Yuri or Girls Love visual novel Heart of the Woods, Limited Run announced that there's going to be a physical version of that visual novel on PS4, PS5, and Switch. A fan translation has been released for Hachake Ayo-san, or Ayo's After 5, developed by Hard. Faku has released Orcasoft's The Kinky Kitsune and The Tantalizing Tanuki, so if you like these type of animal girls, be sure to check it out. You can get it on Faku Store and on Steam. After well over a year, we finally have an update on Sharin no Kuni's English official release. The last update we got was that Frontwing was going to try to release bug-related issues related to how the resolution switcher wasn't working. It looks like they're abandoning this approach and going with something different. There's going to be two different versions now. The 4.3 resolution version, which is going to be the original 18 plus version, and then there's going to be a 16:9 resolution version, which is going to be all ages, since this version is going to be based on Japanese console ports, which are always all ages. Also, the non-Steam digital version is planning to release in English in August 2023, X'd out, physical version sometime in September 2023, and the Steam version sometime in the future. Kind of unfortunate we won't have a build to get the original 18 plus content in the 16:9 resolution, but I mean, this product has been kind of a mess, so is anyone surprised? MangaGamer has released Lkyt on Steam, as well as their own MangaGamer store. The Steam version is actually uncensored and does not require an outside 18 plus patch like most Steam eroge. This is apparently a plot-heavy boys love visual novel made by Parade, who also created visual novels like No Thank You and Room Number 9. We got even more boys love visual novels as JAST released Varenyett's Sorcerer's Choice, Angel or Demon on their store as well as Steam. We also got the visual novel Girls, Girls, Girls that got released on Steam, itch.io, MangaGamer, JastUSA, among other stores. Don't let the name fool you. Every single one of the love interests in this visual novel are femboys, if you're into that. A partial patch for Chusengura 46+1 got released. It only contains Chapter 1. If you didn't know, back in 2016, an all-ages-only version of this visual novel got released by Next Ninja. This version never had an 18 plus patch officially, among other translation complaints. This fan translation patch release is a full retranslation with 18 plus content intact. I said earlier earlier, for now this is just a partial patch and only contains Chapter 1. The only other thing to keep in mind is that this version does not work with the Steam version. You would have to find a way to get the Japanese version and patch that. The only thing I know about this visual novel is that it has life or death drama, samurai action, and was fairly well received in Japan. For those who are fans of the Ubisoft visual novel Senran Banka, Limited Run has announced that there's going to be a physical Switch version for it, which will also have the option of getting a physical copy of the Senran Banka soundtrack. Currently, there is no set release date, but you can pre-order it on the Limited Run site right now. Shirobune has done it again, as they have rescued a Soul Press visual novel translation we all thought was dead, Nukatashi by Krupo. As said, this was one of many Soul Press's announced visual novel translations that never got released due to the CEO's issues with taxes and payments. Thankfully, it seems like Shirobune is going to be using the non-honorific translation and possibly edits that were done by the Soul Press team before. Despite the premise seeming like a sex-heavy visual novel, given that the premise is an island that promotes perverted sex anywhere by law, there's apparently an actual plot that's all about fighting the system, and the main protagonist specifically trying his best to keep his chastity. Right now you can wishlist and pre-order Nukatashi through Steam or Joran respectively. A wall scroll featuring a new illustration of Nemu and Kanai from Clockup's infamous Euphoria is now available for pre-order on MangaGamer's site. It will start shipping on May 18th. Ubisoft released their latest visual novel in Japan. Fittingly, and to almost no one's surprise, Nekonyan announced that they're going to be doing an English translation of that visual novel that's going to be called Angelic Chaos Reboot in English. It's already about 10% translated, and given that Nekonyan tends to prioritize newer titles, don't be surprised if this comes out sometime next year. Looks like Shirobune is going for a double surprise this month, as they announced that they're going to be releasing the Dungeon Travelers series. This is a dungeon crawler RPG series created by Aqua Plus, the creators of the Urawareru Mono series. The first game's setting was actually an isekai for the characters from Two Heart 2, a visual novel which actually got a fan translation back in 2017. Unfortunately, this first game is going to be released sometime later after the two sequels. Thankfully, the two sequels, Dungeon Travelers 2 and Dungeon Travelers 2-2, are planned to be released sometime in summer of 2023 and can be pre-ordered on Joran. These sequels star completely original characters, but there are DLC content which will be part of the English game, which will include characters from various Aqua Plus visual novels such as Urawareru Mono, Tears to Tiara, and White Album 2. And that wraps up the visual novel news for April of 2023. As always, if you have any feedback, positive or negative, feel free to leave a comment below. I want to give a shout out to my YouTube members, Marie Antoinette, who's been in the VN Weirdo tier for 8 months, and Dexter Boston Terrier, who's been in the VN Super Weirdo tier for about a month now. Much appreciated.